Now, putting the L, that is the lab, the L back in lab, we hopefully we're in teams of two, and each of you have one of these little mini whiteboards. And what I'd like you to do on the top of this, now you're working in teams, you're going to be sharing. We're going to have one do the recording, but as you do this, we want you to teach and learn, learn and teach, kind of as a team, a little collaborative effort. So take a moment using your black pen, and toward the top of this board, write this down. And we'll pause. Okay, now that you have this down, again, this is an equation, and we want you to solve this equation. And the protocol for solving this, an equation with fractions, is that we are going to multiply each term by the lowest common denominator. So one of the things you're going to talk to each other about is what is the lowest common denominator. And you should have 22. So by each term, 24. Each term you're going to multiply each term by a 24. And you can do something like this. Now, our next step is to simplify each of the terms. So take a moment and try that. Again, you're talking to each other, trying to determine what you're going to do. All right, so 8 goes into here once. 8 goes into there 3 times. 3 goes into there once. 3 goes into there 8 times. 12 goes into there once. 12 goes into there twice. So what is your next step? Well, you're going to multiply through, and you get 3 times 3 is 9, and should look something like this, plus 8 times b is 8b, and now 2 times 5 is 10. So you have now a much simpler equation because you've gotten rid of the fractions. Now, what's your next move? Well, you want to get all of the numbers on one side, all of the letters on the other. So we could transpose this 9 to the other side, or use the other method of subtracting 9 from this side and 9 from that side. Again, the transposition will come a little later, or maybe you're using it already. So you then get 8b equals, when you do this subtraction, a 1. Now, what's your next term? And again, discuss it and kind of indicate why you're going to do this next step. And you're going to divide by the numerical coefficient of the variable, which is 8. So anything divided by itself is 1, and that's what you want here, a 1b. And what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So your answer then is b, after these cancel out, equals 1/8. Now, hopefully you've lined up your equal signs and you've shown the steps in a clear and orderly way, and this is what we're looking for. Okay, we're going to erase this and put up our next example. So here's the next example. Now if you were writing in the previous example, switch with your partner, let your partner write, but again, you're being collaborative about this. Learn and teach, teach and learn. So as we look at this one also has fractions. A question, how many terms? Well, all of this is one term, and all of this is one term. So there are two terms. Well, we want to multiply each term by the lowest common denominator. So discuss this. What is your lowest common denominator? And if you said 15, you are correct. Now, clear fractions. Well, 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into 15 3 times. So now you are going to clear parentheses by multiplying through, and let's see what you get for your next step. Again, do this collaboratively. Talk with your colleagues. So 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 2c is 10c. Keep your equal sign lined up if you can. Now, 3 times 3c is 9c. 3 times a negative 5 is a negative 15. Now again, we want to get all of the letters on one side and all of the numbers on the other side, so we can transpose or do it any other way you want, as long as it gets done correctly. So do the next step on your own and see what you get. Again, collaboratively. All right, I'm going to subtract a 9c from this side and a 9c from this side, and that will leave me with a c there. These cancel out. Now, to get the numbers on the other side, I'm going to subtract a 40, and I'm going to subtract a 40 from this side. You have to be careful of the signs. This cancels out, and that gives you a 0. Here, adding these together give us a negative 55. And that is the answer. Okay, you're going to be working on your labs, on your study plan. Again, an important part of this is that you ask questions. Don't be shy. We're here to help.